sure it still accelerates. It does. Now I'm going to go and check how it starts. See if it does that big thing.
It's been, after this long trip I did, it was starting way better than it had when it's cold. It just, we barely start. Okay. Sounds like it starts like it means it.
Yeah. Is that easy?
You know how excited I would get when we were going traveling and it would start, but my biggest fear was, there's a guide in the ferry lineup and we thought it was the battery. And actually a guy jumped it and it worked. And then the starter was changed. I didn't know the starter had been changed, and a buddy of mine said it's the starter. Because he tapped the starter and it would start. But it had been changed, but we ended up putting in a new starter.
Yeah, if you have to tap it to get it to do anything,
Yeah.
you need a new starter.
Okay. But he had just replaced it and I didn't go back. It might have been a faulty starter.
It could have been that this thing was trying to start it when the engine's actually kind of running backwards.
Okay.
Like when the piston's coming up compressing the mixture,
Yeah.
if it fires before it gets to the top, it's going to stop the engine.
Yeah.
So the starter, which is turning the engine, suddenly has no electromagnetic counterforce, EMCF.
Yeah.
That means it's got zero resistance to it. That means that a whole bunch of current in the battery is going to go through it. So if you put a meter onto it and you're looking at the current, normally it'll run like 150 amps, something like that. But when it goes like this, it could run 1,000.
Okay.
So while it's doing 1,000, which is just shortly,
Yeah.
still it's 1,000 amps.
Yeah.
1,000 amps is a ton.
Yeah.
Like if we're doing the bucket thing in the water,
Yeah.
1,000 amps is like the
But
whole bucket.
he tested the starter when we pulled it out, he hooked up to the battery and then he touched the something with the screwdriver and it was working. So he was confused. He's like, that's weird. It should have been dead.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about really studying deeply on the electrical.
Have you ever heard of shimming a starter?
Yeah, but that's in GM. You don't do that with Volkswagen.
Okay.
Volkswagen made their starters and transmission compatible so it was in the right place.
Okay.
GM had like all different kinds of people making their stuff. So you might have to
Well, I had a guy that was looking at it, and he's a BMW Mercedes guy, but he had worked on Vanagon, and he thought it needed to be shimmed. And then when I put it out there on Vanagon, they go, get a new mechanic, because that's
Right.
not.
There's GM stuff.
But we got, okay. But
GM
he
350.
said it should come, I got the Bosch starter, he said it should have been shimmed in the box, or wasn't.
It's not that way.
Okay.
Geometrically speaking, like it's geometry when it's
Right.
off the chin, you don't need it.
Okay. Okay, that's what he thought was the reason why the starter wasn't starting.
That was exactly what I was telling you.
Okay. Okay.
So now it's starting.
So why didn't I wreck the second starter? Because I hadn't fixed that. It was still, it started better after the starter was put in, but it was still doing that sort of.
The new one was stronger,
Okay.
turning force,
Okay.
so it tended to push it through.
Okay.
And also when it's pushing it through, it's not stuck. So 1,000 amps aren't going through it.
Okay.
Maybe only 500.
Okay.
So that means that it's not going to ruin it right away.
Okay. All right.
So that's why.
But it's fixed. Like there's nothing gonna.
Yeah, now it starts like booming.
Yeah.
Weird. eh?
And because you did this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It seems unrelated to some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
If I explain it to a mechanic, they go,
Like just turn it a bit. And like, huh? Okay. Well, it worked. Great. 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 Okay. All right. That's it. My lesson's done.
that's right.